Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The special session number 707 is hereby called to order. May I request the Honorable MP Sheikh Muhammad Najir is able to lead us the invocation. Honorable Muhammad Najir. Please rise for the invocation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa qala rabbukum ud'uni astajib lakum. Allahumma fahada du'auna wa minkal ijabah. O Allah, gawin mo ang pagtitipon namin na ito ay pagtitipong may kasamang habag. At gawin mo ang paghihiwalay naming pagkaraan nito ay paghihiwalay na malayo sa kasalanan. At huwag mong gawin ang isa sa amin mula sa amin at sa pagitan namin ang sawi o kapuspalad. O Allah, gawin mong mapamahal sa amin ang pananampalataya at pagsunod sa Islam at gawin mong kasiya-siya ang mga ito sa aming mga puso. Gawin mong kamuhi-muhi ang kawalan ng paniniwala, ang paghihimagsik at ang pagsuway. Gawin mo kaming kabilang sa mga matuwid na napatnubayan, lalaki man o babae. O Allah, itatag mo para sa aming sambayan ng Bangsamoro, Muslim, Christian, lumad, katutubo, ang isang bagay na makatuwiran kung saan ang mga sumusunod sa iyo ay paparangalan. Ang mga sumusuway naman sa iyo ay gagabayan. Ang kabutihan ay may pag-utos at ang masama ay may pagbabawal. O Allah, ipagkaloob po sa amin ang katiwasayan sa aming mga tahanan, sa aming bansa, at pagbutihin mo ang aming mga pinuno at yaong mga may-ari ng autoridad, at gawin mo ang namumuno sa amin ay mapasakamay ng mga may takot sa iyo, makadiyos, sumusunod sa iyong magkalugod. O Allah, ng Panginoon ng buong daigdig. O Allah, patnubayan mo ang aming mga pinuno at mga leader tungo sa iyong pagmamahal at pagkalugod sa salita, gawa at hangarin. O Allah, pagkalooban mo ang aming mga leader ng matuwid na tagapayo na tutulong sa kanila upang gampanan ang kanilang mga pananagutan at tungkulin. O Allah, ilayo mo sa kanila ang mga mapandinglang na tukso, lantad man o lihim, at hawakan mo sila sa kanilang mga loob tungo sa kabutihan at takot sa iyo. O Allah, ang sinumang nagbabalak ng masama sa kanila ay ibalik mo sa kanila ang masamang balak nila sa kanilang sarili. O Allah, pag-isahin mo ang kanilang salita, ang kanilang alay, at gabayan mo ang kanilang opinyon sa pamamagitan ng iyong habag o pinakamahabagin sa mga mahabagin. O Allah, hinihiling namin sa iyo lahat ng mga kabutihan ngayon at magpakailanman namin o hindi, at kami ay nagpapakupkup mula sa mga lahat ng kasamaan ngayon man at magpakailanman, batid man namin o hindi. O Allah, hinihiling namin sa iyo ang pinakamabuting hiniling sa iyo ng propetang si Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at nagpapakupkup kami sa iyo mula sa pinakamasama ng usahan sa para sa iyo, iyong lingkod, propetang si Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Wa sallallahu wa sallama ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wa akhiru da'wana Alhamdulillah.
Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and the Bangsamoro hymn.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, helas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong bangaw, ay ginatang tula, kawit sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na naghihingi, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magtitingin. Luman ang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, mo'y langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaw simula noon hanggang ngayon, isa ang naging layon, magkaisaan magbuklod, karitingan ay marugtong. Tumayo tayo mula sa hamon ng nakaraan, niyapos ang panganib na umalang. Pinangako sa puso at paniniwala, ang ginhawa para sa walang pipigil sa sa buhay
The Secretary General is directed to call the roll of members.
Assalamualaikum. Roll call, honorable members of BTA Parliament, Abbas Ahmad, Abbas Harun, Abbas Basit, Abu Mujib, Adyong Rasde, Alamia Laisa, Alauden Mosber, Ali Lanang Jr., Ambuluto Suharto, Ampatuan Bahintan, Anayatin Susana, Antaw Muhammad Kelly, Antok Tumanda, Asarul Habir, Asnawi Dan, Balindong Ahmad Amir, Balindong Pangalian, Bayang Sulfikar Ali, Benito Abdul Basid, Kandaw Maruf, Kutan Otto Salim, Nilanggalan Hasemi, Dumama Alba Shah Elaiha, Ibil Muhammad Nazir, Ismail Soharto, Estino Matarol, Gayak Amiruddin, Guerra Edward, Haji Abdullah Khalid, Hasim Abdullah, Hasan Hatimil, Hataman Abrar, Ibay Ibrahim, Iqbal Muhagger, Ismail Rasul, Jajuri Raisa, Chikiri Saripuddin, Kadatuan Kitam Jr., Karon Bay Ali, Karon Faisal, Lim John Anthony, Loong Benjamin, Loong Don Mustafa, Lorena Jose, Makakuha Abdul Rauf, Makapar Abdullah, Malang Butch Jr., Mantawil Baileng, Mastura Eshak, Matalam Japar Apollo Mikael, Mendoza Froilin, Mitimbang Michael, Mitimbang Tawakal, Miswari Abdul Karim, Miswari Nur Redda, Mitmog Rasol Jr., Mundir Ali Rakim, Munoz Hussein, Oranon Suaib, Pakasam Obaida, Pagayaw Alindatu, Pak Abdul Wahab, Parcasio Randolph, Piang Ramon Sr., Rakim Amir Jakaria, Salindab Said, Salik Ali, Sema Omar Yasser, Sema Romeo, Sheikh Said, Sinarimbo Nagib, Sinulinding Kadil Jr., Sulaiman Ali, Sumagayan Aminuddin, Tan Nabil, Osman Ajbar, Uy Oyod Sitipahani, Yakub Muhammad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nasta'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, on the basis of the roll call, 50 members of the Parliament responded to the call. We therefore certify the presence of quorum in today's special session. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There being 50 members present and who responded to the call as certified by the Secretary General, the Chair declares the presence of a quorum. And therefore, we shall now proceed to transact our order of business. What is the pleasure of the floor leader?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, before we proceed to the order of business, we'd like to acknowledge guests for today's special session.
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, we have fellow public servants, including the Deputy Chief Ministers, the leaderships from our Bangsamoro ministries, including the ministers, deputy ministers, and Director General, the heads of other Bangsamoro offices, our beloved Mufti Sheikh Abdul Rauf Jalani, development partners, civil society organizations, provincial governors and mayors and other local government officials, officials from the security sector, national government agencies, and some members of the House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker, we are likewise graced by the presence of the Special Assistant to the President, Honorable Antonio Ernesto Lagdameo, and Presidential Assistant on the Peace Process, Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., as well as the Wali Sheikh Muslimin Yamaden, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a special session called for the sole purpose of listening to the rendition of the Chief Minister's report under Section 2, Rule 10 of the Rules, Procedures, and Practices of the BTA Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Abdul Rauf A. Makakua, for the Chief Minister's Hour, a report to the Bangsamoro.
Before we proceed any further, uh, to listen to the Chief Minister's report to the Bangsamoro, we would like to welcome all our distinguished guests whose names were announced. The Honorable Chief Minister, Abdul Rauf Bakakwa, is hereby recognized for the ICM Hour, a report to the Bangsamoro. Welcome, Chief Minister. You are now recognized.
Maaari no pa ko yung magsiupo, saka courtesy for, thank you for that courtesy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. His Eminence, the Wali of the Bangsamoro Sect Muslim Jamadin, Speaker of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, Parliament Attorney Pangalian Balindong, and fellow members of the Parliament, Senior Minister Muhammad Yaqub of the Bangsamoro Government, and the members of the Cabinet, along with their deputy ministers. Special assistant to the President, Antonio Lagdameo, sir, thank you for blessing this occasion, gracing this occasion. Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity, sir, thank you for coming. Secretary Leo Terso Magno of Mindanao Development Authority, sir, thank you. Although parang nagalit ka sa akin kahapon kasi wala daw invitation, hindi, tawag-tawag lang tayo. Congressman Yusuf Alano of the Lone Province of Basilan, Congressman Toto Mangunodato of the Province of Maguindanao del Sur. Toto ba na nandito si Toto? Congressman by Dimple Mastura of Province of Maguindanao del Norte and Cotabato City. Madam, thank you po. Governor Rinaldo Tamayo Jr. Nandito ba siya? Of the Province of South Cotabato. Vice Governor Rosela Mariti Taray of the Province of Cotabato. Our President, Mindanao State University System. Attorney Paisalin Tago. Chairperson of various commission in honor for the Bangsamoro, members of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, mayors and vice mayors within VARM, members of the diplomatic corps, our guests from the national, regional, and local governments, and our governor from Maguindanao del Norte, Dato Kagiali, Dato Tocao Mastura, and the governor of Maguindanao del Sur, the Kadato Kagiali Midimbang, our guests from national, regional, and local governments, our friends and partners from the security sectors, our partners in peace and development, representative from civil society organization, heads of offices, agencies, special programs, and similar institutions. To my fellow and beloved Bangsamoro, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh at magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. first month after I assumed, 5 months after I assumed office, with utmost humility and a deep sense of responsibility, I stand before you today as a humble servant, civil servant, reporting in my capacity as the Chief Minister of Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. This month of service are not mine with every Bangsamoro who has long dreamt of lasting peace. Sa bawat magsasakang patuloy na magsusumikap para sa mas masaganang ani. Sa bawat magulang na nagdarasal para sa mas accessible at quality healthcare para sa kanilang mga anak. At sa bawat kabataang nakatanaw sa kinabukasan in search of a better opportunity in our land. Our leadership is guided not merely by policy, but by moral governance. Kulukum ra'in, wa kullu ra'in mas'unun an ra'yati. Each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flock. Hadith Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This teaching is the foundation of moral governance, our guiding principle in building a Bangsamoro that is not only just, transparent, and compassionate, but also accountable to the people, and most importantly, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty. It is our moral compass. It informs how we craft our policies, how we distribute our resources, and how we treat the most vulnerable among us. Leadership for us is amana, a sacred trust. Now, allow me to express my heartfelt gratitude to our beloved former Chief Minister, Alhaj Murad Ibrahim, for his unshakable vision, faith, and integrity in laying down the foundation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Under his leadership, we transition from armed struggle to regional governance. He sowed the seeds of peace and moral governance, and we continue to nurture the fruit of his labor. We are continuing enhancing the groundwork he led, faithfully, sincerely, and with a deep appreciation. Mr. Speaker, and this August chamber, today we move forward with bold aspirations, a stronger Bangsamoro or mas matatag na Bangsamoro, not just in infrastructure, but in institution, not just in economy, but in iman, not just in project, but in people. We envision a Bangsamoro where government services reach every community, where peace is not merely the absence of war, but the presence of justice, where our Muslim, Lumad, and Christian or settlers communities coexist in mutual respect, where our youth lead innovation and our leaders guide with wisdom, and where our children are not just protected from harm, but are prepared for a brighter future. Mr. Speaker, since assuming office, we have walked this path step by step by advancing our enhanced 12-point priority agenda. This agenda is not a list of dreams. It is a commitment to action. Today, I will report to you the progress we have made since I first spoke about it during my inaugural speech before this body. Medyo matagal-tagal ito pagtiyagaan lang ninyo. Pero okay lang sa inyo na magdulog-dulog ng konti basta kayo nilang magalis. On strengthening the farm bureaucracy and enhancing services. Ladies and gentlemen, in pursuit of a more transparent, efficient, and accountable Bangsamoro government, we strengthen the very foundation of our bureaucracy through data-driven assessment, improved financial processes, and institutional reforms. The issuance of the Bangsamoro Budget Memorandum, or BBM, on March 14 provided standardized guidelines how now used by ministries and offices in preparing fiscally sound and priority-aligned budget. Our performance review of bar ministries, offices, and agencies for fiscal year 2023 and 2024, conducted from March to April, news that budget utilization is measured against concrete results. This was complemented by a series of directives and accomplishment performance assessment tracking, or DAPAT, meeting. Our evidence-based monitoring initiative, together with the Ministry of Finance and Budget Management, conducted from May to July. This meeting yielded actionable insight to improve service delivery. Further, strengthening political alignment and execution readiness were the personnel services consultation, the second Bangsamoro Budget Coordination Committee meeting, and the validation of LGU bank accounts. At the core of this transformation is our drive to modernize, unseen in the pilot launch of electronic procurement system, the implementation of the government purchase card program, and the enhancement of the Bangsamoro investment framework, our policy guide for strategic utilization. We also launched a capacity building efforts, such as the Windows Server Bootcamp, Investment Strategy Workshop, and the Procurement Summit, equipping personnel with the tools for 21st century governance. These reforms embody our commitment to moral governance, where every piso is spent for the people and every program honors the trust they have given us. As a Chief Minister, I remain steadfast in building a bureaucracy that is professional, transparent, and rooted in our moral values. The introduction of the Salamat Excellence Award for Leadership Act of 2025 is a step in this direction. Institutionalize a culture of merit and accountability, honoring leaders who exemplify moral courage, servant leadership, and excellence in public service. This measure shows that we uphold integrity both as virtue and a standard. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, our international engagement over the past months have opened doors, not just for diplomacy, but for institutional development. Through our partnership with United Nations Office for Project Services and the Sumatra Program, we are enhancing public service capacity, judicial reform, and legislative development, including training, institutional reviews, and system modernization. With the Japan International Cooperation Agency, we signed a record of discussion for the project for strengthening services, maternal and child health and nutrition environment. This multi-million peso initiative directly supports our Ministry of Health in improving our service delivery protocols and human resource level. Discussion with University Putra Malaysia opened a technical research partnership on housing and settlement planning, supporting long-term capacity building for the Ministry of Human Settlement and Development and related agencies. Consistent engagement with international development partners from the EU to the Australian and UK embassies has brought renewed technical cooperation in e-governance, peace building, and performance-based service delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say we have consistently demonstrated VARM's capacity for meaningful engagement on international stage. This is the fruit of our long and hard-fought struggle for genuine autonomy, led by our brothers in the MILF and MNLF. Today, the Bangsamoro is not participating, it is contributing, advocating, and representing the hopes of our people on the global stage. Our engagement with the ASEAN Summit, BIMP, YAGA, and ASEAN GCC China platform have allowed us to advance priorities in economic growth, halal industry, Islamic finance, trade facilitation, climate action, and renewable energy, directly tied to building a high. In our dialogue with the Malaysian International Chamber of Commerce and Industry, facilitated by no less than the MINDA director, I personally encourage investors to explore VARM as a hub of growth. We welcome diplomats from Indonesia, the UK, the US, and the EU partners who reaffirm their support for a peace and institutional reform. Yung meeting na yon, kami ni Sec Leo, siyang nag-facilitate ng Malaysian Chamber of Commerce. For your further information, sir, baka sabi niyo, gawa-gawa ko lang yun. Beyond formal meetings, I was honored to host gatherings reminding us that diplomacy is not only about policy, but about building relationship rooted in trust, respect, and shared vision. All this engagement send one clear message. The Bangsamoro is open, peaceful, and ready to collaborate. We are serious about our role in regional development and committed to building a government that our people can trust and be proud of. Now is the time to define reforms, empower our workforce, and institutionalize a service culture rooted in professionalism, compassion, and accountability. Mr. Speaker, on advancing local governance, e-governance, and digital infrastructure, digital access is no longer luxury. It is a necessity for inclusive development. In the early months of this administration, we took decisive steps to bridge the digital divide and equip our communities for the fast evolving technological landscape. Through the Bangsamoro Information Technology Office, we conducted 6 targeted digital retreats, reaching 169 participants from across the region, including youth, women, and professionals in both urban and rural settings. We also launched one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in BARM's history, the Farm-Wide Internet Connectivity Project, funded through the 2023 Special Development Fund. This initiative aims to install 1,010 digital towers composed of 10 main nodes, 250 sub-towers, and 750 access points. Parang sila lang dito sa siguro. Kasi connectivity ang pinag-usapan natin, ha? Yeah. There will be a delivered, reliable, secure internet access across all provinces and special geographical areas. As of June 2, 2025, the first node was launched at the Bangsamoro Government Center in Cotabato City. In the coming months, the rollout will include Cotabato City, one sub-tower, and 108 access points. Maguindanao del Norte, 3 nodes, 70 sub-towers, and 210 access points. In Maguindanao del Sur, 1 node, 25 sub-towers, 75 access points. Lanao del Sur, 2 nodes, 50 sub-towers, and 150 access points. Special geographic area, 1 node, 25 towers, and 75 access points. Tawi-Tawi and Basilan, 1 node, each with 23, 25 towers, up to the 75 access points per rock. Parang ang masaya lang Tawi-Tawi kasi malayo sila masyado. Mr. Speaker, parallel to these digital strides, we also strengthen local governance through the Ministry of Interior and Local Government, MILG. In March, MILG, together with stakeholders, drafted the Bangsamoro Barangay Newly Elected Officials Framework Program, which aimed to equip grassroots leaders with governance tools and values aligned with moral governance in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. We ruled out the localizing e-governance for the accelerated provisions of services program in Marantau, Lanao Sur, including equipment deployment and a training on local web portals. MILC also turned over to public market, to barangay house, and 19 Tugon housing units in Maguindanao del Norte, Lanao del Sur, and Basilan, respectively. We have also conducted a workshop on legislation, continuing our push for institutional strengthen and decentralization service delivery. This transformative network unlocks access to online learning, e-health, digital governance, halal commerce, and more. It reflects our commitment to building a digitally empowered, inclusive, and future-ready Bangsamoro. With every power we build and every young mind we empower, we prove that this government is serious about connecting the Bangsamoro, not just to the world, but to its own untapped potentials. On economic growth and investment climate. Economic progress is cornerstone of a resilient Bangsamoro. In our first month, we have taken concrete steps to strengthen fiscal autonomy and attract meaningful investment. Mr. Speaker, I am proud to report that as of July 2025, we have secured 4.1 billion pesos in approved investment, exceeding our annual target. With new projects in agriculture and housing across Maguindanao, these investments are creating jobs and uplifting communities. The milestone reflects our commitment to moral governance and economic jihad or economic struggle, peaceful struggle to bring dignity, opportunity to every Bangsamoro. Complementing these gains, the Ministry of Labor Employment has served over 13,000 beneficiaries, advancing inclusive labor development, unemployment, and migrant welfare. Sana ba yung mga taga-labor na parang palakpak? Wala man. Key interventions include 2,500 youth, including 633 ustads, deployed under the Bangsamoro Internist BIDP program. 1,900 students under special program for employment of students. 1,745 informal workers benefited under TUPAD with 4.1 million disbursed and 4.35 million in startup support extended to 2,175 informal workers through the livelihood program. MOLE also conducted 67 labor inspections, 54 advisory visits, and helped resolve over 200 labor disputes. It registered 88 establishments and engaged 24 private agencies to improve workplace standard. To support our overseas Bangsamoro workers, 236 individuals were repatriated and received 10,000 in aid. We also signed a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Migrant Workers on OWA to enhance UVW, Overseas Bangsamoro Workers, protection. In line with our commitment to labor equity, we approved a 50 pesos increase in the minimum wage for all private sectors workers, ensuring just compensation aligned with the regional, economic, and realities. Our labor reforms are part of a broader effort to foster dignified work, business confidence, and responsive public institution. To that end, we launched the government purchase card system and the Bangsamoro investment framework to boost investors. Bangsamoro investment framework, advancing autonomy and financial accountability. To boost investor confidence, the Ministry of Trade and Investment and Tourism is finalizing Bangsamoro Investment Opportunities Catalog, highlighting key sectors such as halal, agriculture, logistics, and eco-zones. We also conducted investment roadshow in Cotabato City, Makati, and Davao in partnership with embassies and business group, securing 138 million in new investment and generating 1,850 jobs. Our support to 30 cooperatives and 80 MSMEs has enhanced access to capital market and technical expertise, notably warm coffee growers from Maguindanao, Sulu, Basilans, gained national recognition at the Philippine Coffee Expo, affirming the quality of our local products. Trade and market access improved. Trade fairs generated 26.7 million in MSME, sales from 194 exhibitors. Our partnership in IFEX 2025 lead to partnership with the global buyers backed by EU, FAO, and UNDP. To the infrastructure program or front, the Puluk report and Ecozone fees reported 4 million in collection and hosted 24 cargo vessel. We are in active talks with halal producer for port partnership and are giving regulated bartered trade framework aligned with the global standards. As we move forward, Bangsamoro Investment Code, now under final review, will institutionalize investors' incentives, protection, and inclusive growth mandate. Mr. Speaker, as we strengthen our institution and investment, we remain to uplifting our people, ensuring that every gain in governance translates into a tangible progress for every Bangsamoro. On food security and agri-fishery productivity, Mr. Speaker, I firmly believe that foundation of any strong society lies in its ability to feed its people with dignity and sufficiency. That is why this administration has prioritized our partners' peasantry, those who rise early, labor with their hands, and sustain the Bangsamoro through their works. Just last month, the Asian Development Bank committed $400 million to support the economy project with a focus on coastal provinces like Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. This investment boosts livelihood in seaweed farming, fisheries, and island tourism, and marine enterprise, while enhancing conservation effort. It signals confidence that BARM is ready to lead Mindanao's marine resource development in a responsible and inclusive manner. To sustain, the Ministry of Agriculture To sustain the momentum, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform rolled out wide-ranging intervention to improve productivity, promote sustainability, and uplift rural communities. In crop and rice productivity, we distributed 1,000 bags of hybrid palay seed to over 1,000 rice farmers in Mamasapono, Gindulungan, and Ampatuan, and assisted 812 upland farmers with inputs under the community-based upland rice production technology demonstration. In March, we delivered 30 organic garden packages to school in Maguindanao, encouraging food sufficiency and agricultural values among youth. From March to June, we distributed 48 farm tractors to cooperative, supporting corn and cassava productivity. In high value crops, over 63,000 Arabica and Robusta seedlings were distributed to rural communities, and 12,510 kilograms of mung beans seed supported short duration cropping for the soil health and income. In response to the El Nino, 6,000 bags of hybrid corn seeds were distributed to help affected farmers replant and recover. To strengthen regulatory quarantine services, we monitored 61 barangays for animal disease and assisted 165 farmers, conducted plant disease surveillance in 63 barangays for 285 farmers, issued 79 regulatory documents, and trained 249 individuals in pest management compliance. In agribusiness and enterprise development, the Mapar Ramadan Trade Fair Plus, in partnership with the European Union, served 59 farmers group and earned 4.5 million. We also granted 1.2 million in zero-interest loan to 12 cooperatives and launched the Kadiwa ng Pangulo Store in Camp SK Pendaton, generating 68,690 in sales for the improved food access. We also advanced halal innovation and livestock research and development, supporting the production of certified agri byproducts such as Marang ice cream, mangosteen jam, and Palapa Fest. We expanded native livestock production and rehabilitated facilities to our capacity. Hindi ko pa rin natikman yung Marang ice cream na ito, sir. Baka mamaya. For fisheries and post-harvest support, 6 freshwater fish cages were distributed to Cooperative in Maguindanao, Lanao Sur, and Special Geographic Unit. 60 non-motorized and 21 motorized bangka boats packages were given to fishing families in coastal provinces. We also turned over 15 million worth of solar-powered ice makers and 11 million in post-harvest kits to fisheries cooperative and celebrated Fish Talk Month by honoring 847 fishers across the region. Under agrarian reform and land support services, we trained 40 agrarian reform beneficiaries in Lanao, Nilsur, on packaging and food manufacturing practice, and at the tawi-tawi on business development. 24 ARB women in Bongao receive a corn meal to support enterprise development. We also launched the comprehensive land acquisition and distribution management information system, a digital land monitoring system, and subdivided 6721 hectares of collective certificates of land ownership award or CLOA, land in the Maguindanao for more than 20 ARB beneficiaries. These efforts a firm belief that moral governance begins with a service to those who feed, build, and sustain the Bangsamoro. Inshallah, we continue this path, arm in arm with our farmers and fisherfolk. We are building not just food security, but dignity, resilience, and shared property for all. On key strategic infrastructure, as we foresee mass matatag, as we pursue a mass matatag na Bangsamoro, we recognize that true progress rests on resilient, secure, and future-ready infrastructure. From the outset of this administration, we advanced critical infrastructure projects across air, land, sea, and community spaces, aligned with our vision for inclusive development. Let me begin with our aviation sectors. Under the guidance of Ministry of Transportation and Communication and the Bangsamoro Airport Authority, we implemented major upgrades across both islands and mainland airport. We began phase 2 of the passenger terminal building rehabilitation, which include architectural finishing, air conditioning, fire alarm, paging system, CCTV surveillance, and other improvement in compliance with international civil aviation organization safety standard. A new parking area with solar-powered lightings, a guardhouse, and boom barrier across will enhance both safety and passenger experience. Ito, pwede nating puriin si former MOTC Secretary Minister. Kasi gawa niya ito. Kasi yung papalit sa kanya, hindi pa naka-assume. To ensure basic necessities, we are constructing water facilities with treatment system at Sanga-Sanga, Cotabato, Awang, and Hulu airports. We are also boosting power reliability with 200 kVA generator and new powerhouse in Sanga-Sanga. Security fencing is underway at both Sanga-Sanga and Hulu Airport to fortify perimeter safety alongside attention to smaller operational needs, underscoring our commitment to safety and efficiency. This investment transforms our airports into getaway of opportunity and engines of regional growth. But our infrastructure agenda does not stop at our runways. Across the Bangsamoro province, the Ministry of Public Works has been actively building the backbone of regional connectivity. Between March 8 and July 21 of this year alone, 204 projects were completed, including 98 roads projects, covering 84.71 kilometers and 8 bridges, 5 ports, and 45 such as schools, multipurpose halls, covered courts, and solar street lights. Across the provinces, Basilan completed 33 projects, including 17.2 kilometers of roads, 3 bridges, 6 flood control system, and 1 fort. Cotabato City completed 24 projects, including nearly 5 kilometers of roads and several flood control structures. Lanao del Sur delivered over 10 kilometers of roads, 3 forts, and 11 water systems. Maguindanao del Norte and Maguindanao del Sur collectively completed 27 projects involving roads, flood controls, and water access. The Special Geographic Area completed 18 projects, including networks and water system. Sulu delivered 25 projects with ports, flood controls, and over 15 kilometers of road. Tawi-Tawi completed 27 projects featuring 60.28 kilometers of roads, 13 flood controls system, and 15 public use buildings. These are not statistics. They represent lives improved, communities connected, and economic access expanded. At the heart of this infrastructure drive is our vow that no Bangsamoro shall be left behind. That is why, Mr. Speaker, I am proud to report that we have also delivered 100 fully solar power housing units to displaced and marginalized Bangsamoro families in situ Butuasan, Mati City, a historic milestone as the first farm infrastructure project completed outside political. In Lamitan, we also turned over 320 core shelters equipped with solar lightnings and clean water system. These are modern structures. They are a symbol of dignity and solidarity. Through the Kapinang program, Minister, we are not just building hope. We are building hope. Furthering this momentum, in June 2025, the Ministry of Human Settlement Development, in collaboration of MPW, facilitated the turnover of housing units and essential community facilities, also under the Kapianan Housing Program, benefiting 150 Badjao families in Simonul, Tawi-Tawi. This initiative not only provided permanent homes, but also included a mosque, school, heritage station, access roads, and footbridges, reinforcing our shared goal of ensuring accessible, affordable housing for marginalized and vulnerable in the region. Inshallah, through this unified infrastructure agenda spanning transport, housing, and community development, we are building resilient communities, expanding economic access, and strengthening peace and prosperity across the Bangsamoro. Sir, tinitingnan ko ang oras sa kabaka yung weather. On energy security and climate change preparedness, Mr. Speaker, our journey matatag na Bangsamoro must also embrace protection of our environment and the pursuit of sustainable energy, sincere expression of our amana as its stewards of Allah's creation. Upon assuming office, we took a firm step to ensure that energy development and climate action move hand in hand. Through the Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Energy, we launched initiative promoting clean energy, climate resilience, and ecological integrity across the region. In energy planning, we partnered with the Department of Energy and Southeast Asia Energy Transition Partners to develop the Bangsamoro Sustainable Energy Plan, Master Plan. This roadmap aligns our regions with the national goal of 35% renewable energy by 2030. It uses the latest models and data and will culminate in the first ever Bangsamoro Energy Summit this November. On environment protection and climate adaptation, we implemented on-the-ground action. On March 3, 4 Menry Commission Enviro as units Cotabaton, Marawi cities, introducing non-combustion fuel-free technology for sustaining sustainable waste management. On June 5, in celebration of World Environment Day, we planted 350 bamboo and dao seedlings along the Dimapato riverbank in Dato Udin Siswat through a joint tree growing and clean-up drive. Furthering our coastal protection efforts, on May 7, we signed a memorandum agreement with the National Power Corporation to expand the ADAPT and Estero program to Basilan, Suluan, Tawi-Tawi, mobilizing local communities in the protection marine ecosystem. We also convened the 2025 Turtle Islands Sanctuary Protected Area Management Board meeting in Bongao, Tawi-Tawi, to review infrastructure proposals, inform forest conservation policies, and update the Protected Areas Management Plan. These actions demonstrate our commitment to balancing economic growth with the preservation of our environment for this generation and the next. On social services, protection, and universal health, Mr. Speaker, one of the clearest expressions of moral governance is how we care for the sick, the vulnerable, and the poor. In the eyes of Allah Almighty, every life matters, and it is our sacred obligation as leader to ensure that care reaches every family, regardless of income, locations, or background. In the past months, we delivered on that promise, alhamdulillah. Our Ayudang Medikal mula sa Bangsamoro Government, Ambag, program served as a lifeline for the thousands of families. This free, direct medical assistance for indigent patients affirms our belief that healthcare is a right, not a privilege. To date, 17,876 beneficiaries subserved, with over 76.9 million dispersed through 45 partner hospitals within and beyond the region. We recorded the program's largest ever fund transfer, 60 million, to the Cotabato Regional Medical Center, along with 10 million to Dato Bla T. Sinswat District Hospital and 5 million to Davao Regional Medical Center, extending our reach even outside BAR. Through the grassroots partnership with the WOW District Hospital and Dr. Serapio B. Montanier Jr. Alhaj Memorial Hospital, we serve hundreds more, offering not only medical care, but healing rooted in dignity and tradition. Meanwhile, through the Ministry of Health, we expanded both emergency response and specialized care. We distributed 21 ambulances, 3 mobile clinics, and vital logistic tools. In Lanao del Sur, we upgraded the dialysis center, built a public health unit, and opened an acute stroke unit and microbiology section. In Tawi-Tawi, we inaugurated the first ever MOH accredited dialysis center. The Maguindanao Provincial Hospital became BRRMS BARM's first hospital to offer pre-laparoscopic surgery, working towards level 3 accreditation. Mahirap kasi pronounce yung mga medical term. The kasama mo sa Kalusugan Outreach Program conducted 3,858 minor surgeries, 24 major surgeries, and 574 consultation, while the Bangsamoro Health Outreach for Everyone BHOP program delivered over 5 million worth of aid, including medicines, hygiene kits, and assistive devices to jail facilities and vulnerable communities. We also supported Hajj pilgrims through a medical deployment in Mecca, distributed 1,393 health kits, and provided pre-vaccination, serving both pet and duty. Moreover, we released 103.2 million in subsidies for 8,600 barangay health workers, the lifeblood of our growth healthcare system. We also trained staff in the entomology and launched the Philippine digital system to improve early detection of non-communicable disease. On social services, the Ministry of Social Service and Development reached more 29 families in just over 3 months. This included financial subsidies, livelihood aid, educational assistance, and food and hygiene support. Programs such as Unlad Pamilyang Bangsamoro Sagip Kabuhayan, Dakilang Bangsamoro Layag Bajau, and Pupup program empowered indigenous families, solo parents, displaced Bajau, and communities and vulnerable children. Over 60,000 children and youth were supported through feeding programs, birth registration, and education aid via Angat Bangsamoro, Kabataan Tungo sa Karunungan, and the supplementary feeding program. A total of 13,998 vulnerable women, including survivors of gender-based violence, were reached through the Tanggol Kababaihan Bangsamoro and Lakas Kababian Bangsamoro programs, receiving psychological support, legal assistance, and family food. More than 22,000 elderly and persons with disabilities benefited from Hadiah program. Kalinga para sa may kapasanan and the Center for PWDs in Cotabato City receiving health kits. Training and assistive devices. MSSD mobilized 5,180 volunteers and parasocial workers, sustaining the delivery of frontline services across communities. Over 2,590 early childhood care development centers and facilities were supported, strengthening the foundation of our care ecosystem. The Office of Chief Minister, through Project Tabang, reached remote and crisis-affected areas under Ayuda Alay sa Bangsamoro. We delivered hygiene kits and food packs to 47,558 beneficiaries, including madrasas, orphanages, and flood-affected communities, both inside and outside VARM. We conducted 20 medical missions in multiple provinces, serving 48,153 individuals with pre-pickups and mid-checkups and medicines. During Ramadan, the FAST program provided packaged meals to 24,400 fasting individuals and under the social assistance for special occasions. Korban meat was distributed to 7,380 families, bringing the spirit of Eid al-Adha to the most underprivileged. These acts of compassion and service embody what Islamic values and moral leadership truly mean. But even as we celebrate this milestone, we face a sobering reality. Child stunting and food security persists. Every time pinag-usapan nito, stunting na ito, parang nagiging palaging problema yung stunting dito. Mas lalo na si Dr. Sinolinding. Pero, stunting itself, for me, is not a problem. Because the bar is practically running by a stunted individual. Like, for example, si Sinolinding, sir, maliit man na tao yan, pero napakatalino na, napakatalino na tao. Si Raisa Gedzuri, maliit din, sir, pero napakatalino din na tao. Marami, yung MP namin, si Benton, sir, si Bailing, maliit din, sir, pero napakatalino. So, what is the problem of stunting? When in fact, that all these are bright individuals. Marami, sir. Meron pa kaming saan yung isa din na favorito ni sir na stunted din na photographer. Yung camera natin, sir. Saan yun? Si Mursid. Saan? Pwedeng maglabas to. Napakalit na mama, sir, because talagang, sana ba yung nandun, sir? Nandun. Hindi lang pakaway-kaway lang, sir, kasi hindi makikita ba? Pero talagang marami. Si Nagib, sir, maliit din na tao, pero MBHT. Parang nawala na ako, sir, sa ano. These acts of compassion service embody what Islamic moral leadership truly mean. Babalik lang ako na, sir. But even as we celebrate food insecurity persists, the data is clear. And we will not look away. We will respond with focused partnership and result. Mr. Speaker, brother and sister, these are not just numbers. They represent the lives of the sick, elderly, the orphan, and the poor. Lives that receive care, comfort, and dignity. As Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "He who does not show mercy to people, Allah will not show mercy to him." Let us be known, under the administration, healthcare will be protected by promises alone, by sustained action, strategic investment, and the moral duty to, and the moral duty to serve. On disaster preparedness and climate resilience, Mr. Speaker, as climate risk and natural hazard intensify, this administration has taken coordinated and proactive steps to build a disaster-resilient Bangsamoro. Through the Ministry of Science and Technology, we must launch Project Dreams, disaster resilience through enhanced and adapted monitoring services. This platform now operates 8 strategically located monitoring stations across all BARM provinces with the real updates every 6 hours. Dreams delivers localized risk assessment, tropical, cyclone, and earthquake alerts, and the full 360 situational awareness, empowering communities to anticipate, prepare for, and respond to disaster. To ensure that every warning is heard and acted upon, Project Dreams integrates SMS alerts, small email notifications, social media updates, and pre-disaster risk assessment reports, enabling report widespread dissemination of life-saving information to residents, local government units, and every emergency responders. This is not just a technological upgrade. It is a moral commitment to safeguard lives and livelihoods. Para daw, sir, yung hindi nakakarinig, siguradong makita din nila yung mga warning, ginawang SMS lang. Kasi alam mo naman, yung mga tatana, paramihan, hindi na makarinig ng warning. So, ginawa na lang sa SMS. Ito ang sabi ng Ministry of Science and Technology. Ano ibig sabihin dito, sir? Sa BARM, the Ministry of Science and Technology, hindi magiging ministry ang sayang ang technology. So, in the BARM, we can really use science and technology. Hindi magiging sayang ang technology sa BARM. Complementing these efforts, the Ministry of Health has resumed equally proactive. We maintain 24-hour/7 operations center monitoring, deployed standby medical teams during major events, and conducted over 10 basic life supports and cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Ito, another medical term na naman ito. Training session across the region. Hygiene kits, emergency medical supplies were pre-positioned to ensure rapid development in times of need. In response to the El Nino crisis, our government mobilized timely recovery assistance, including the distribution of seeds, livestock, and the rollout of agricultural disease surveillance to help restore hope and productivity for affected farmers and fisherfolk. Community were also engaged in bamboo planting, and riverbank cleanup drives, reaffirming our commitment to climate action and ecological protection. Together, these efforts mark the beginning of more resilient, climate-smart, and future-ready Bangsamoro, one built on preparedness, compassion, and shared responsibility. Mr. Speaker, education is a cornerstone of just thriving society. It is through quality, relevant, and value-based learning that we equip the next generation to lead the Bangsamoro towards lasting peace and prosperity. As Chief Minister, I fully continued to bring education system that is not only academically excellent, but also rooted in our culture, faith, and identity. Since the beginning of this administration, we have taken a clear and concrete step towards this goal. Through the Ministry of Science and Technology, we expanded access to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. A total of 400 scholars have been supported under the Bangsamoro Assistance Science Education and Best Merit Program, with more opportunities provided through the Professional Assistance for Science Education and the Bangsamoro International Grants. Altogether, this investment amount to 80.3 million, helping more Bangsamoro youth pursue careers in science innovation. This year, we are opening the Bangsamoro Science High School, supported by 12.2 million in supplemental funding. This flagship institution will nurture future science engineers and investors, grounded in devout excellence and moral purpose. However, we are integrating knowledge creation into our system. Research projects such as the preservation of Magna traditional music and the creation of digital learning tools ensure that our education remain both modern and culturally meaningful. Through the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Education, we address resources gaps and improve learning environment, especially in the underserved areas. We prioritize delivery essential learning materials and for teacher, while also accelerating school infrastructure development, including groundbreaking ceremonies and classrooms turnovers across the region. Mr. Speaker, I also recognize the concern being raised by our people about various education issues. These reports have reached my office, and I want to assure you, we are listening and we are taking action. We are strengthening internal system and upholding transparency and fairness in all aspects of education delivery. Kung may kailangan ayusin, aayusin natin. We also acknowledge the historic challenges that persist. The latest national data confirms that we already know that Bangsamoro has long suffered from low literacy due to decades of conflict and displacement. But this is not reflect the potential of our youth. This is why we are promoting with reform, resolve, and results. Through MBHTE and its partners, we have re-enrolled over 100,000 out-of-school youth and adult learners under the alternative learning system, reaching remote barangays, conflict zones, and displaced communities. We are proudly uphold the Bangsamoro Education Co., the first in our history to create that is inclusive, culturally relevant, and truly our own. We are building literally a strong future with thousands of classrooms conducted or rehabilitated since the transition began. Mr. Speaker, education is the greatest legacy we hope to believe, because when we educate a child in Bangsamoro, we do more than teach. We prepare them to lead. We are raising a generation that is wise, empowered, and faithful. A generation ready to fulfill the dreams of our forebears and carry forward the torch of peace and development. Arim, patulog si Arim. Tinatanong kita, babanggitin ko pa ba yung Marawi dito kasi may on Marawi rehabilitation eh. Ha? Ha? Kung baka babanggitin ko na lang kay para maka on Marawi rehabilitation, Mr. Speaker, as a Moro with roots in Lanao, si Marano din man ako, they carry a personal and a collective duty to help rebuild Marawi, not just in physical form, but in dignity, memory, and promise. Our sacred responsibility goes behind concrete and steel. It is about healing the wounds of the seeds and restoring the rightful hopes of those who endured displacement. Napag-usapan din natin ng Marawi, ha? At that time, si Sir Galvez ang West Mengkong. Nandun siya sa Marawi. Pinuntahan ko siya. Kasi nag-offer ako ng support sa kanya, sir. Kung wala kang sniper, sir, bigyan kita ng mga 50. Pero he declined our offer. Sabi niya, baka maging magulo ang sitwasyon. So, at that time, mainit masyado yung Marawi. Pinabanggit ko lang ito kasi para kay Alim, baka akala niya wala akong ginawa tungkol sa Marawi. Pero marami kaming ginawa doon kay Sir Galvez. Since I assumed office, the Marawi Rehabilitation Program MRP has served additional 2,427 internally displaced person and supported 10 community shelters, bringing the total number of IDPs reached since 2022 to 2020 to 37,732. Stats, pwede bang tama ito yung figure? Doon ko kinawi ito, kinuha sa Marawi ito. Ito. The MRP continues to deliver holistic assistance, converting healthcare, education, water, sanitation, hygiene, food security, shelter, and livelihood restoration. Under the Bangsamoro Sagip Kabuhayan Program, 15,000 in seed capital was provided to 1,000 IDP beneficiaries, helping them restart their livelihood. We also extend a long-awaited financial assistance to 677 IDPs previously excluded from the Katanor registry and provided medical aid to 311 others through partner hospital in the region. In collaboration with the Ministries of Social Services and Health, MRP conducted medical missions in 16 shelters, assisting 366 patients and delivered over 809 cubic meters of clean water to 2,210 households across 11 transitory shelters. We installed 235 solar lighting in 10 shelters solar hybrid energy system for 50 households in Darussalam, Gadungan permanent shelters, providing not just but renewed hope and sense of security. On infrastructure, we have commenced the construction of 300 housing units across Marawi City, Kapay, and Sagyaran, alongside 2 new wash station Lumbak, Madaya, and beyond construction, we supported 14 IDPs with financial aid for building permits, empowering them to legally rebuild in the most affected areas. Mr. Speaker, I am also pleased to report that in recent high-level meeting at Camp Pranao, 6 major arrangements were signed between the national government and the Bangsamoro government, representing another breakthrough in our collaborative efforts to rebuild Marawi. This includes Memorandum of Agreement between the Department of Public Works and Highways and the Bangsamoro government for the repair of the access bridge in Darussalam village. Tripartite MOA among Deputy Village, Department of Education and BARM for the construction of school ancillary facilities. Memorandum of Agreement, understanding between the National Housing Authority and BARM for the building Better Marawi, livable and accessible housing program. An MOU among the Department of Agriculture, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, and BARM to promote aquaculture development. An MOU between NHA and the Marawi Compensation Board for the processing of compensation claims. The former turnover Marawi port facilities from the Philippine Port Authority to the Bangsamoro government. This milestone must be translated into urgent, honest, compassionate action for the healing of Marawi, the dignity of its people, and our shared goal of stronger, more stable. We must act with unity and resolve. On the peace, justice, and reconciliation, Mr. Speaker. Sir, tatapusin ko ba ito? Kasi baka... Peace is foundation of all development. Since assuming this role, we have worked to rebuild trust in the Bangsamoro government by fostering safe communities, promoting healing, and advancing transition justice. Through the Ministry, Public Works and Safety, we launched Safar, our flagship initiative for community-driven safety early conflict response. This program mobilized 160 early warning early response volunteers and reached conflict-affected areas in Basilan, Sulu, Maguindanao del Norte. As part of this effort, we also rolled out Musawara, Kalilintan, a series of community peace dialogue that created a space for honest conversation about peace and public order. We reinforce law enforcement coordination through the coordination with law enforcement agencies in the region. Program bringing together the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, the Philippine National Police, and the local stakeholders to close security gaps. During our drug prevention campaign, reached over 380 individuals, while election security operations were strengthened through joint efforts. Our peace-building efforts extended to those most affected by conflict, In Basilan, we supported the reintegration of 70 vulnerable combatants and 45 former local insurgents. We also offered physical, social training to 30 widows and 30 orphans of violence extremists. Furthermore, 20 religious and educational institutions received financial to help them resume their services. One of our most impactful growth initiatives is the Alternative Dispute Resolution Program, which helped settle 50 redo cases, achieving a 62.5% resolution rate in just 6 months. We also conducted 20 community-based redo prevention sessions, reaching 588 participants, reaffirming that traditional conflict resolution remain a vital part of our social harmony. As we honor our history, we also work towards healing through the popularization of Bangsamoro historical events. Over 2,900 participants joined our Bangsamoro History Month activities. These were not mere commemoration, but steps towards historical justice, collective memory, and dignity. The Bangsamoro Human Rights Commission also played a vital role resolving 69 human rights cases and providing legal assistance to 1,997 individuals. Parallel to this, labor inspection expanded social protection have helped ensure accountability and uphold the dignity of our workers. Mr. Speaker, these efforts to safeguard human rights and dignity are deeply connected to broader pursuit of justice and peace. In line with this, we continue to support programs that uplift our former combatants and their families, ensuring they are not left behind in our shared journey toward healing and transformation. Just yesterday, I had the honor of witnessing the awarding of educational assistance to the Commission of the Moral Islamic Liberation, to the combatants of the Moral Islamic Liberation Front and their next of kin, an initiative that reflects the enduring commitment of both the national and Bangsamoro government to normalization process and lasting reintegration. Let us never forget, peace is not merely the absence of war, it is the presence of dignity, memory, and reconciliation. Through the sustained community-rooted efforts, we are building a just and lasting peace in the Bangsamoro. One life, one family, and one community at a time. On cultural heritage and identity. Kunti lang ito kunti lang. Mr. Speaker, in the Bangsamoro, our identity is our strength. It is not merely expressed through our language, clothing, or architecture, but through our faith, our values, and the way we live our belief in service to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to one another. A central expression of this identity is our religion. I am proud to share that Bangsamoro Darul Ifta continues to lead in providing Islamic guidance, strengthening religious preaching, and deepening spiritual formation across the region. The Bangsamoro Darul Ifta has issued numerous fatwa religious edicts that offer clear and relevant guidance on everyday matters, ranging from family and business to moral governance and social issues. These fatwa are grounded in enduring Islamic jurisprudence, but thoughtfully contextualized for the unique circumstances of the Bangsamoro people today. Alhamdulillah, just recently, we marked a milestone with the launching of Bangsamoro Endowment Call and Guidance Center, a dedicated facility that will serve as a spiritual hub for Ostarjes, Islamic teachers, and ulama. This center will provide space for Dawah Islamic missionary work, religious discourse, and spiritual nurturing. It is a living testament to our enduring commitment to support the bearers of knowledge and faith who guide us according to the teaching of Islam. As your Chief Minister, I give you my solemn assurance we will continue in the spiritual health of our people with the same dedication we bring to their physical well-being, education, and livelihood. Because in preserving our identity, we protect the very soul of the Bangsamoro. Mr. Speaker, bago ko po makalimutan, sa ating kapatid na tausug sa Sulu, please know that you are never forgotten. As your brother struggle and in faith, and as your Chief Minister, I assure you, our programs, services, and development in the province of Sulu will continue with firm and yielding commitment. Nagbubuklod tayo ng isang adhikain to restore the dignity of our people and secure a future worthy of their sacrifices. Hindi kasagutan ang pagkakawatak-watak sa problema na ang ating dinadanas. Kaya ngayon, hawak na natin ang pagkakataon na mapabuti ang bawat buhay ng Bangsamoro